We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Today on November 22nd, 1963, the nation sits in stunned silence as an hour ago at 12:30 p.m. in downtown Dallas, President John F. Kennedy was shot while on his way to the trade market to make a speech as part of his campaign for the upcoming election. As President Kennedy turned off the main street at Dealey Plaza in his motorcade, waving to spectators, 2 shots allegedly rang out, striking the president and Governor John B. Connally.
Kennedy was riding next to his beloved wife Jackie, behind John and Nellie Connally in the presidential motorcade. Governor John B. Connally and a witness by the name of James Tate were also wounded from the 2 reported rifle shots. Connally is being treated in Parkland Memorial Hospital, and Tate has been treated for his wounds, which were not fatal.
Growing crowds came to celebrate the president's visit to Dallas as he smoothed over Democrats and continued on his campaign to spread democracy in the midst of the scares in Europe and America of communism.
Kennedy truly is an activist of America's democracy and capitalism. He diligently worked to protect our nation's best interest, and the nation can only sit in shock as these events transpire.
Now we will go to Aya, who has just called in. She was with James Tate, the witness that was injured by the fragments.
I'm here at the scene of Dealey Plaza, where the horrific scene of President Kennedy's shooting took place. Here is James Tate. Please, Mr. Tate, tell us what you saw today.
Well, actually, I had no intention on staying and watching the president roll by today. You see, I was late on my meeting with my lovely girlfriend for our lunch date, and the shortest route to pick her up was through the motorcade. I was only 30 minutes late when all of a sudden I heard a loud crack. It sounded like someone threw a firecracker, and then I thought, what kind of idiot would be throwing a firecracker with the president driving by? I'm sitting there, still in disbelief, over somebody throwing a firecracker, and then crack, crack. What I thought was 2 rifle shots, not a second apart, and something stings me in the face. It could have been a mixture of a little bit of lead and concrete I was sprayed with. Debris hit me in the face. I broke the skin in maybe 3 or 4 places. I thought a drop of blood in each place, nothing serious.
I'm glad you're okay, Mr. Tate. Those firecrackers ended up being the shots that were fired at Kennedy's motorcade that fatally wounded him and Governor Connally. Thank you for your time. And now we go to Averie for a more in-depth analysis.
Thank you, Aya. President Kennedy was shot twice, once in the neck and again in the head, slumping over and leaning on his wife Jackie. The injuries sprayed gray matter and blood all over the back seat and trunk of the Lincoln Continental convertible. General Connally suffered a major injury through his chest from the shot that went through Kennedy's neck, which went through the radial part of his wrist and lodged into his thigh. James Tate, a passerby of the motorcade, was injured slightly from bullet fragments along the side of his face. As of this moment, General Connally is being treated at the Parkland Memorial Hospital along with Mr. Kennedy.
We also have news that Dallas police have a prime suspect of the shooting, Lee Harvey Oswald, who was already arrested for the murder of a local police officer.
We're still waiting on news of the status of President Kennedy. As far as we know, he was rushed to the ER of Parkland Memorial Hospital, where... Yes? We just received word that President John F. Kennedy, as of 1 p.m., is pronounced dead. Let's all take a second to mourn his loss. Now let's go back to Aya, who is now outside at Parkland Memorial Hospital.
Hello, America. I'm here again with more witnesses at Parkland Hospital, where more and more people are gathering mourning the news that the president has in fact succumbed to his wounds. I have with me Faye and John Chisholm, who were in the plaza when the shot sounded. What did you 2 witness today in the plaza?
Well, it really was a blur because as soon as the 3 shots rang out, the president got rushed away to the hospital.
You said 3 shots? Well, that is new information. What we had was 2 shots, one that injured the president and Governor Connally, and one that murdered the president.
You say the president is dead? Well, we heard the shots and thought they were firecrackers at first. Then we saw people across the hill on the grass scream and drop to the ground, covering their heads, so we did the same.
We're all a bit shaken by this.
This is a dark time for all Americans. He was truly an American patriot who spoke nationally against communism and the threats it brought to our country.
In these times, communism threats our nation with the Cold War and the threats of the Soviet Union's atomic bombs. In these times, President Kennedy was the one who made us feel safe and secure in our homes, and also instilled a sense of unity.
Our prayers also go out to Mrs. Kennedy, who supported her husband until the very end and was even helping him all the way to the hospital. And even then, she refused to leave his side until he was secure. Speaking of Jackie, we will now go back to Aya, who is waiting on a ward with her outside of the hospital.
I'm still standing out here in Parkland Hospital, waiting on more news of President Kennedy. Oh, Mrs. Kennedy, may I have a word?
No interviews, please.
We will certainly mourn this death for years to come. Hopefully the perpetrator of this horrific event will be brought to justice. But for now, I'm Diego Garcia.
And I'm Alex Rodriguez. May God be with you. Good night.